Smile, it is Sunnah. The magical effect that a smile has on others is well known. God the Almighty created mankind with an innate inclination to love those who are friendly. A person who meets others with a smile drives away their anxiety and troubles and spreads tranquility and comfort. This is because smiling is a commendable characteristic, and the one who smiles is complimented. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was known to have a pleasant smiling face. In fact, it became a part of his character. The people who socialized with him recognized this characteristic in him. Abdullah ibn al-Haris ibn Hazm, may God be pleased with him, said, I never saw anyone smile more than the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. Jarir ibn Abdullah al-Bajali, may God be pleased with him, said, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, did not keep himself from me ever since I embraced Islam. And whenever he saw me, he received me with a smile. This was how the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, gained the affection of people, and this made them more ready to accept the truth that he proclaimed. This was stressed by the saying of Aisha, may God be pleased with her. I never saw the Messenger of God, peace and blessings be upon him, laughing to the extent that I could see his uvula, the fleshy lobe at the back of his palate. He would only smile. This was further accentuated by the description of Ali, may God be pleased with him. The laughter of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was mostly smiling. It was then that his white teeth showed. Based on the previous saying, we can understand another saying of Jabir ibn Samura, may God be pleased with him, who said, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, would remain silent for long periods of time and would never laugh excessively. Commenting on this matter, Imam Ibn Hajar, may God have mercy upon him, said, what is understood from this hadith is that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, would in most cases only smile, and who would sometimes laugh. It is unfavorable to laugh too much or to exaggerate in laughter because it removes solemnity. Books on the biography of the Prophet, peace and blessings upon him, mention many situations in which the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, smiled. He, peace and blessings be upon him, would address those who were around him, issue Islamic verdicts or undergo different incidents, but he would face all these with a shining soul and a cheerful spirit. The following are some examples. Anas ibn Malik, may God be pleased with him, said, once while the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was delivering the Friday sermon, the people stood up and called, O Messenger of God, there is no rain, i.e., we are suffering from a drought. The trees have dried up and the livestock are destroyed. Ask God the Almighty to bless us with the rain. So he, peace and blessings be upon him, said twice, O God, bless us with the rain. Then a cloud appeared and it started raining. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, then descended from the pulpit and performed prayer. When he left, it was raining, and it rained continuously till the following Friday. When the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, started delivering the Friday sermon, the people started calling out, the houses have collapsed and the roads are cut off. So ask God to withhold the rain. So the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, smiled and said, O God, keep it around us and not on us. Whichever side the Prophet directed his hand to, the clouds dispersed and kept reigning around Medina as a miracle of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and as an answer to his supplication. Once Suhaib ibn Sinan, may God be pleased with him, went to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, while he had dates and bread in his hand. So the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, invited him to eat with him. When he started eating the dates, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, looked at Suhaib ibn Sinan, may God be pleased with him, and remarked, "You have a sore eye." It was known among the Arabs that eating dates aggravates such a condition. Suhaib, may God be pleased with him, replied, "O Messenger of God, I am eating the date from the other side of my mouth, that is under the well eye." At that, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, smiled. In another hadith, Zayd ibn Arqam, may God be pleased with him, said, "I once felt extreme anxiety and stress that no one else has ever felt. When I was walking with the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, I lowered my head out of distress. Then the Messenger of God, peace and blessings be upon him, came up to me, tweaked my ear, then smiled at me. What the Messenger of God, peace and blessings be upon him, did was more beloved to me than having the pleasures of paradise on earth." Also Jabir, may God be pleased with him, said, "A man came to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and said, 'O Messenger of God, I saw in a dream that my head was cut off.' Thereupon the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, laughed and said, 'Do not tell anyone if the devil tampers with your dreams.'" Aisha, may God be pleased with her, said, "One morning Hafsa, may God be pleased with her, and I intended to do a voluntary fast. However, we received a gift of food and ate. When the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, entered, Hafsa, may God be pleased with her, asked him before I did, 'O Messenger of God, we intended to fast, but received food as a gift and ate some of it.' Thereupon the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, smiled and ordered them to fast another day instead of that one." Another hadith in this context is narrated by Abu Huraira, may God be pleased with him, who said, "While we were sitting in the house of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, a man came to him and said, 'O Messenger of God, I am ruined.' The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, asked, 'What is the matter?' He replied, 'I had sexual intercourse with my wife while fasting.' The Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, asked him, 'Can you afford to free a slave?' He replied in the negative. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, asked him, 'Can you fast for 2 successive months?' He again replied in the negative. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, then asked him, 'Can you afford to feed 60 poor persons?' He replied in the negative as well. After a while, some dates were brought to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. Then he asked, 'Where is the questioner?' He replied, 'I'm here.' The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said to him, 'Take these dates and give them in charity.' The man then said, 'Is there a person poorer than me that I can give it to?' By God, there is no family between the 2 mountains of Medina who are poorer than me." The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, smiled till his premolar teeth became visible and said, "Feed it to your family." The advice of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, is sufficient for us. To smile at your brother is charity.